Hi everyone, I'm Gautam aka The Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video we're going to be talking a little bit about SP cheating on you and what you should be doing in that situation. Now before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching, so I offer hourly, monthly, email and DM coaching. The link will be in the description down below for an FAQ page where you guys will have all the answers you need, and thereafter you guys can reach out to me via Instagram or email for pricing information and to figure out what plans may be suitable for you. I also have a Facebook group where I upload resources from time to time, as well as you guys can ask me questions anonymously if you wish to do so. I also have a mailing list where I post articles as well as my latest offers for coaching. And last but not least, I also have my Manifest Your SP course that has been revamped and launched. All the links will be in the description, guys, so be sure to check it out. And without further ado, let's get to it. So what prompted this video actually was, as you guys may know, I posted a post on a question that I answered, right? Like on Instagram, where I answered a question about, a lady asking me about SP cheating and whether or not she should be moving on, basically, right? So I answered the question in a post format, and a follower shortly thereafter reached out to me, and she gave a very interesting perspective that I feel like it's worth sharing on a video format, and that is the point of this video, right? And I'm also going to be discussing what I meant in the post a little deeper as well. But the followers message to me was one of the reasons as to why I'm doing this video, because I feel like this is worth sharing, and there's just something that like a lot of people just don't seem to grasp this. So I just thought, I would make a video about it, and hopefully, maybe people can resonate with it better, right? So when I made that post, many commented, and the one comment stood out, and I also shared the response on the story as well. And that was, the person couldn't wrap the mind around the idea that, okay, she was the one who caused the SP to do such a thing to her, right? And I responded in turn that, like, it's all us. As hard as it may be for us to swallow it in the beginning, it's all us still. And if you can grasp it, you can, turn things around, and you won't feel like a victim, right? You won't feel like a victim because you become the affector of life, you become the creator of life, right? Because you are now saying, you know what, I am not, the victim. I'm not going to let anyone else's responses seem like, it's just a result, they have their own free will and that's why they acted the way they did. No, I now know, because I am the creator of my reality, because everyone is me pushed out, and because thought transmissions are real, everyone is behaving according to my thoughts, assumptions and beliefs. And if I were to think favorably, and if I were to assume good things in general about not just one or two people, like, but everyone in general, only good things will happen to me. That's essentially it, right? It's the same idea as life happening for us and not to us, right? Whatever that we are thinking gets pushed out, and is we experience it again. That's pretty much how the loop works, right? It goes from thought to the 3D back to us again, right? So if you are like experiencing something bad, you can break the cycle by changing your thoughts, thereby experiencing something good, and reinforcing that positive thought, and you can continue, you can create a new cycle essentially, right? So the same thing with SP. So the follower who reached out to me, right, what she was telling me was very interesting, right? So I'll get into that into detail right now. So the post I made was about a SP who, like, cheated, and this person didn't know what, whether to move on, or and so on and so forth. The person who actually reached out to me, she actually cheated on her, partner, basically, right? So, and she gave a very interesting perspective, like how, even like when she did it, like, and she felt like, wait, why did I actually do that? Where did that come from? Right? And then she actually went and confessed to her partner that he actually did this. And thereafter, they reconciled, everything was good, and I'm really happy that they did. And this was very interesting for me, because she also told me this as well, right? The partner, watches a lot of like fantasy and like a horror and things like that. So the night that she confessed, it was like raining, there was like thunderstorms and things like that apparently. So it was like I find it really interesting. And I guess what she was alluding to with the whole thing was he created that situation and she acted, right? If you look at it from his perspective, like his frame of reference, his fears and insecurities manifested itself that way, right? And when she did it, and like she was like, wait, why did I do that? So he put her in that state, right? Because in his reality, he, like she doesn't have any free will. She acts as though like, he thinks, right? And the other thing was she really made it a point to kind of emphasize this as well in the video, is that just because someone like cheats on the person, it doesn't mean that like they don't love that person. Basically, like she said, like because a lot of people think like okay, if my SP cheated on me or something like that, they don't love me. She's like, absolutely not true, because for her case, she still loved her partner, which is exactly why she confessed to him and so on, which is really a very great thing to do, right? And what I would say is a lot of people when they committed, like, okay, if SP cheated on me, and then they really committed from a place of like victim mode. They will think probably SP doesn't love me anymore, this is why they did whatever that they did. I'm not like good enough for SP, that is why they did what they did and so on, right? So they really go into that deep victim mode that does not serve them in any way. Whereas if you simply shift it and ask the question of, okay, what thought of mine caused this? Which thought that I was thinking caused this exact event to happen? In what way did I contribute to this? By like just through thoughts. Like, in what way did my thoughts contribute to this? Was I thinking something that manifested itself this way? And when you do this, when you do this kind of reverse engineering of like what actually happened, and you kind of trace back the steps, and you're like, okay, see, this thought was the one. And then what you can do is you can then change the belief, right? Okay, from now SP is a loyal person, SP is a kind, caring, loving person, and then they come back as that person, right? So that can definitely happen. Now, the big question is, of course, whether is it worth doing it, or whether like you can just move on to another person. That is still up to you. There's no right or wrong answer for it. Like what this person said, like this follower who reached out to me said, like your person can still love you. Obviously it varies from case to case, and I can understand that, and I can empathize with that. But this is one case where, like, this is an example that I feel like not a lot of people get, is your person can and will love you if you assume so. Just because of one incident, don't let that ruin a relationship, in the sense that if you really want this person, and if you can look past whatever that they did, in this case potentially cheating on you, if you can look past it, and if you really want to be with this person, and the only thing that's kind of preventing you is, say, like, okay, maybe they don't love me, don't let that prevent you. Don't let that assumption get to you. You assume and you persist, right? And they have to come into your life. They have to come into your life, right? So the main point is this, right? Like, it's all you at the end of the day. Whether it's a bitter experience or whether it's a pleasant experience, it's all created by you. However, like unlikely that may seem, or however impossible that may seem, it all arises from your thoughts. Everyone is you pushed out. Everyone is a reflector of your state of mind. So it's very, very, very important to make sure that you have a good state of mind, right? You can argue by saying, well, I didn't affirm for that, I didn't visualize my person doing this to me, I didn't have an inner conversation with my person saying this to me. Fair enough, but you had a thought, right? These are all techniques to change your thoughts, but you already had that thought, and probably you had that fear as well, right? Oh no, I wish I hope this is not true, or I wish that will not happen, or things like that, right? And that very fear itself could drive this entire thing to unfold in your 3D. And this is why we need to be very careful about what we think, and just be aware of it, and to catch ourselves so that we won't go into the flow of that thought and kind of dwell in that thought, if that makes sense, right? So another thing I wanted to talk about was watching what you consume. This is very important because a lot of people don't really realize like what they are watching could contribute to such things that is unfolding in their life, right? And this has been something that I have noticed in my own life, and that's something that I have, really tried to change in my life, if I'm really being honest. And it's a work in progress, like full disclosure, right? Like I'm not perfect here. Like this is like one of those things where I'm really working on it right now. So like whatever content, right, like whether it's a movie or whether it's some sort of like a book that you're reading, like how you see this person who reached out to me, like what she said, her SP, her partner I should say, was reading like horror stories and things like that. And it was so dramatic when she actually confessed to him, right? Like, or so it's, you have to be very mindful of the content that you are consuming, because even that can have a profound effect on your mind, which can then be pushed out as well, right? So like for example, for me, I used to be a huge fan of like, and I still am, like of like movies of like gangsters and violence and things like that, right? I love the Godfather trilogy. I used to watch a lot of Peaky Blinders. I know a lot of you guys are huge fans of it too, and all that, like, which is all fun, like I think like if you can take it in like doses, it should be fine. There was a new series that I really wanted to watch, the season 3 of Boys, but I was like, from what I can tell, it was like super bloody, like literally there's like blood everywhere, and like there's just gore, and I was like, okay, you know what, it's better if I don't watch it. uh, but so I just kind of just read the story, and I just kind of get the beats here and there, and I'm like, okay, cool, so this is what's happening. And I'm very careful these days as to like not go too much into something, because then I don't know how it may affect my subconscious mind. Like, who knows this? Like companies know this. Like they'll pay so much for 5 seconds of your attention per video, right? What happens when you're repeating that 5 seconds over and over and over again? It gets ingrained in your mind. They know the power of your subconscious mind more than you do, right? Because everything, like whether consciously you may not recognize the advertisement and everything, but subconsciously somewhere it's influencing your decision making, right? That's how powerful your subconscious is. It's absorbing everything without any bias, right? So like watch what you consume. So if you are watching a lot of like dramas and whatnot, with a lot of like breakups and like toxic relationships and so on, guess what you're going to manifest in your life, right? And I'm not saying like you should deprive yourself of completely of entertainment, but what I am saying is be aware of it and limit it throughout the day, right? Because I feel that it has a really a profound effect on your mind. So we consume, like we watch what we consume, like food wise, right? Like healthy, like physical diet wise, right? Like mental diet wise, like we don't really sometimes like see what we are consuming. And that is really really important, to make sure that we are consuming quality content, right? Because sometimes you're mindlessly scrolling through apps, and it's really scary these days as to how it has really developed. So we have to be really careful as conscious creators, as conscious manifestors. We have to have the responsibility to like watch what we consume, so that we are manifesting things that are of favorable quality for us, if you will, right? So make sure that you are watching what you're consuming, because I feel like that is something that a lot of people tend to kind of overlook. So the way also like I would do it is I would watch maybe one series. I won't binge watch. I try not to binge watch these days, so because I feel like that also creates a lot of things. So if I'm like 90% of the time I'm consuming like favorable content, and then the 10% is like Peaky Blinders or Boys material, for example, then it's not that bad, because I'm consuming like 90% of the time favorable content, right? Hypothetically speaking. So have that kind of balance for yourself, right? So that way you make sure that your mental diet is healthy, but you're also like enjoying things as well in that way, if that makes sense. So because you guys can see how it can have a profound effect on whatever that is you're attracting into your life, like what this person did, right? When his partner like confessed to him that she was like cheating on him, right? It was clearly a, I would say that one of the main things that really kind of came into play here is the content that he was consuming. So definitely watch that, and also take responsibility for whatever that is manifesting in your life. Accountability, basically, right? So like you have to be accountable for yourself, otherwise you're always going to cite something on the outside, and it's always going to be a never ending cycle, right? So don't point the finger and say, you know what, this person did this to me, or like this circumstance is why I am the way I am right now. And you know what, you can be in that, but who is it going to help? No one, right? So if you take accountability, if you said, okay, you know what, maybe it's my thoughts that manifested this, I'm going to change it by assuming favorably from now, and I'm going to only think and act in a favorable way as much as possible. Guess what's going to happen, right? You're going to attract more favorable circumstances into your life, right? And you're going to be in complete alignment with your goals, and you're going to live the best life you can. And so coming to the question of, okay, whether should I manifest my SP who has cheated on me or not, it's up to you, right? At the end of the day, it's more about if you can overcome the old story, if you can overcome the old story and look past it and understand that hey, this was just them like reflecting my thoughts back then, but now that I've changed, they have changed too. So I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to live a happily ever after with them, right? So if you can come at it from that maturity or that perspective of a conscious creator, then by all means you can go ahead. But like not everyone can do that, especially in the beginning, which I can empathize with. And like I spoke about in my post as well, as like they embark on this SP journey, and they develop their self-concept, they may feel, you know what, I deserve better. I deserve, like I've set my standard higher now. I deserve a person who meets this standard right now, right? And so you may want to manifest someone else that way. So it's really up to you. And at the end of the day, like regardless of which decision you choose, don't regret it. Have no regrets. That's the main thing. Like have no regrets, because here's the thing. Like if you like make a decision, you should be happy about it. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone except yourself, of course, right? So that's all, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like, subscribe for more videos like this. I upload videos every single week. Turn on your bell notification so that you guys will be notified when I do post a video or a reel. Many of you are enjoying the reels as well, so guys, thank you so much. And one quick announcement for the reels is that you guys can actually like there's a description for that. So like if you click the three dots on the right hand side, you will be able to read the description. I feel like some of you may not like know that because reels shorts, I keep confusing it with Instagram. So the shorts, there's a three dots on the right hand side, and if you click that, there's actually a description. So if you don't understand the context of it at any time, you can read that and it'll make sense to you. So thank you so much, guys. And also I have started a new Twitter account, so follow me on Twitter as well, because I be tweeting out just quotes and posts that I resonate with and things like that. It's going to be exciting, it's going to be fun. So if you use Twitter as well, and that's more of your forte compared to like Instagram, for example, be sure to follow me on Twitter. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.